Welcome from the world-famous carousel room. The warrior part of the Answer podcast is kicking off tonight with a friend of mine. He's been known as the Polish pole dancer. He's been known as Nickelhead. He's been called Gator and many other names all around the world. One of the nicest, most gentle, kind human beings that I've ever known. 85% of the time. Dan Brokos owns Lead Faucet Tactical. Hey, Dan.
Hey, Buck. Thanks for all the bullshit intro because I'm really not a nice guy, but I appreciate it.
So, Dan, like I said, owns Lead Faucet Tactical, and I work for Dan sometimes, and got to know him about 4 years ago. Let everybody know a little bit about like how you grew up or where you came from and stuff like that.
I was raised by my mother. She raised 3 boys, worked 3 jobs, so life wasn't easy. My dad took over in high school, and he was a strict asshole, but he sort of shaped who I was today, the drive and grit to become something and be good at it and have the determination, the will. The biggest thing I got from him was work ethic, and you got to put in the hours. I don't care what your profession is, you got to put in the hours. So that's sort of what launched my military career. Decided to retire after almost 27 years, and I was kind of clueless of what I was going to do, but I've been doing this for a bit prior to retirement on the side with some people, and I said, hey, you know what? Nothing like being your own boss. Let's give this a whirl. But that wasn't really the only reason. It was about 27 years of knowledge packed in my head that's been all plagiarized from my teammates. It really has. There's no gimmicks or, hey, niches to say, hey, this is what Lead Faucet does. 6 in one, half dozen the other. What we put out is what works for some people. It's not the only way to do things. And I'm adamant about that. Through my military career, I brought in 10, 11 civilian, military, law enforcement guys to train us. Always need a different look.
You have any brothers and sisters, siblings, whatever the hell they're called?
I do.
Yeah? How many?
I got
Big family, little family?
3 brothers.
3 brothers.
3 brothers.
What do they do?
The oldest brother is in the FBI with his wife. They live outside of Pittsburgh. My youngest one still lives in Erie, PA, where we grew up. He's in engineering. And then the middle one, he's the lone wolf. He's a drifter across the U.S. I don't even know where he's at right now. He could be in the parking lot somewhere sleeping in a camper. I don't know.
So 3 out of 4.
3 out of 4 is not
pursued
bad.
pretty good outcomes.
Yep.
One, and you know what? Maybe he's happy as hell. Who knows?
He probably is.
Yeah, shit like that happens. So take us through your career. How did you, what were your progressions? Why did you go in how did you get to the military to start with? Was it always a dream, or did it just?
Well, it was, I wouldn't say not required or forced. I had some opportunities to play in college, playing sports, and it was something that I grew up. My dad was a Marine, and he was actively involved in the Young Marines, and every Memorial Day, I can remember the time I was 3 years old, we would go and we would put flags in town. We would put them on the graves of the soldiers out in the town. And he was doing that every Saturday and Sunday. Not every, but for the most part. So we tug along, and pretty soon it was like, here's your only option after high school. You're going into the Marine Corps. I was like, roger that. But I was kind of doing my own thing. All my brothers went in the Marine Corps for a little bit. And I walked down there one day and go to see the Marine recruiter. That's all he told me after high school one day. So I walked down to see Marine recruiter, and the Army guy was like, dude, check out this badass video. I was like, I'm here to see the Marine Corps. He's like, you want to go there? Check out this video. And it was a picture of some guys free falling Ranger operations. Back then, I really didn't know what I was looking at, but I'm like, that's pretty badass. So I need your dad's signature. I signed all the paperwork there, and I thought he was going to be pissed off because I was kind of, fighting against him, trying to undermine him all the time. And he's like, good on you. I don't care as long as you serve. Everybody needs to serve their country. So I won't say I was forced into it. I'm glad he had that outlook. I'm glad I had that outlook. I still remember to this day putting up flags from the time I was 3 to high school on Memorial Day, and I always respected the military people growing up. Most of my family has served, and that's sort of what drew me into it. And then it just became a career.
What was your original MOS? What'd you go in as?
Believe it or not, I went in as an 11 Bravo infantry guy. I tried to re-enlist after 3 years. I only did a 3-year contract because my dad was like, "Hey, let's see how you like it. Get the college fund. You can get out, go to college." Those 3 years up, and I was trying to re-enlist to become a nurse. I've always had a fascination with the medical field.
And it's a con bedside personality. It's totally what you should have been. I don't know you missed your calling.
I still.
Hey Dan, my arms are broke. Can you wipe my butt for me, please?
I would do that for you, Buck. I really, so it's still in me. Nursing instincts are still in me. I think that's why I got so many animals on my farm. I like nursing them back to health.
Yeah, I hear you.
Or I just shoot them if they really, really piss me off.
When the pigs are loose.
Yes, when the pigs are loose.
And destroying the other neighbors' crops and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. Yep, it's a good barbecue.
Very.
So you went as 11 Bravo, did 3 years.
Then I progressed up. I didn't pursue the nursing route. The squad leader talked me into re-enlisting as 11 Bravo. Was there in.
What year is this, too? I should have. That's my bad.
Let me think. 90 through 95. Those first 5 years in the regular infantry, in the 82nd, I spent there, and then I ended up going to selection in 95, and then through 96 throughout. I was in Special Forces.
So what stands out in your mind, 90 through 95? Because today a lot of people get contracts and they go straight and they do all that. But what 90 through 95? What do you think? What do you think kind of set the base for Dan Brokos's career?
Being a career. I would say back then it was.
Because there wasn't much happening back then. We had 91. We had Desert Storm.
Yeah, and that was. I got in after that, so it was, or during that time frame, but it was done by the time I got to my unit. That's a tough question. I really think it was just. It sounds so cliche, but I love what I was doing. I love proud being a soldier. It was hard work, but I really enjoyed it, and it wasn't really that hard because of the work ethic I was taught growing up. I enjoyed it. It was more than a job, and that's when I started thinking about, hey, you know what? Why would I get out? Let's think about how we make this career. Let's think about how we progress this. And I had my first squad leader who ended up going to selection, came back. I ran him like, this was when I was young. A couple years later, and he's like, Dan, I love it. You got to take the walk and see how it works out. So I've had good leadership that influenced me to go that route.
What do you think it was about? Because there's lots of good things out there in the military. There's lots of good pursuits. There's the Ranger Bats. They're good dudes. You know what I mean? And they have a certain mindset. And then there's SF, good dudes. They have a certain mindset. They're not necessarily always the same mindset. But what do you think drew you to the SF side?
It was probably the stories I heard from my first squad leader. When I ran into him a couple years later, the fact that, you were actually treated like a grown man. There wasn't mass punishment. It was, hey, if you don't do your job, you're walking. The standards they had. Not to say that other units don't have high standards in the military. And back then I really didn't know any better. Right now, I never knew anybody in special operations. Everybody in my family was a Marine, which is great. But it was almost, I guess, just faith or blind luck that I ended up this way.
So, without giving away any inside secrets or anything, tell us about selection. Like how did you approach it? How did you work your way through it?
Well,
any surprises?
No, not really. I mean, it was a lot of walking, a lot of walking. And I was just used to that back then. It was like, hey, you got to make this many times in row march and they give you a handout. I'm not saying it was easy, but it was, how we trained back then, which was, I'll be honest, we didn't train right with how we should train now. It's like you either ruck 10 miles or run 5 miles every day, which is not good for you. I mean, it still can be done
as you get older.
As you get older,
right
but I was conditioned for that, and I think it's all mental. It really is. I think the military helped, and how I was raised by my father helped. Everything's a mental test. And before I was even in the military, when I was in the military, he say, when I say unit, it doesn't mean anything. It could be any career. It's, the unit doesn't make the man makes the unit, which is like, just because you're there doesn't mean jack and shit. Put forth and give something back to that place. And that's always stuck in my head. And I still tell people that today when I was active duty that work for me. It's like, hey dudes, just because you're here doesn't mean shit. You got to give back. Your legacy when you leave is like, what did you do inside this building the whole time you're here to affect other people and benefit this whole entire organization? And that's how I sort of still perceive things. It's like, hey, how can I give back? I'm just not retired. It's hard work every day to do what you got to do.
You have any just like any little flash moments or anything that stands out from selection? Just that a moment or two that are just like, holy shit, like.
Yeah, I do. It was. I just still remember you'd sleep in bunk beds, and you'd wake up sometimes and you're like, dude, like, where are these 12 empty bunks at?
Yeah.
And guys, just because they're scared to say I quit in front of your peers, they wake up in the middle of the night, go, and it's simple as this. You have like a half a duffel bag full of things out there. You grab it and disappear, and you're so tired. If you get some sleep at night, you sleep. What really stands in my mind is the guy below me. I had the top bunk for some reason, was like in alphabetical order, was gone, but he left all of his MREs.
You know why else he left? Because the top bunk was crushing him. He said, I can't live.
You're right. He was probably looking up there every night saying, gosh, dang, dude.
Can't fucking do this any longer.
This is high risk sleeping up top right there. And he wasn't a big dude. And I kept asking him, and you don't know them people that well. I didn't know him. And he was like, no, I drew the bottom bunk. You climb up top every day. So I'm like, dude, this is painful, bro. This is painful getting up this thing. But I remember for some reason, I was just like, dude, he left his MREs to everybody in there. Like, dude, let's eat him real quick. And we're thinking about what you're doing because there's all these integrity violations and no shit. Like 2 minutes later, they came in and he's like, where's roster numbers MREs? And you motherfuckers ate them. You're walking with them too. And I'm like, they're right here. Count them all.
I had a buddy that, he runs a training company too. Good guy. You met him at Texas, but Max Joseph, he's a Marine going through Ranger School. And he said, basically had one MRE a day, and they got issued him a month in advance. So but he said his battle buddy couldn't like ration his MREs. So towards the end of the month, he was selling this guy like parts of his MREs. He's like, I made a shit ton of money. And the end of Ranger every month towards the end, because this dude or every week, because the guy'd be out of MREs.
Yeah, I've seen people sell expensive knives for a thing of crackers.
Right.
Because it was back then. It was sometimes they dump your ruck out and inspect it. I think when I went through it was you're issued it for whatever, about 5 to 6 days. Here's your 5 MREs. You weren't supposed to eat where you're taught, but some dudes would be like, hey, eat your MRE. It's so hungry, eat 2. Then come the last day, you'd be like, where's your MRE? I ate them all day 1.
That's going to be a rough day.
It's going to be a rough couple of days for you, buddy. I've never done that. I did it once and I learned my lesson.
One of the things that when my son went off to advanced training stuff, in the Air Force, and it's probably not quite the same as SF is, but I took him and I took him around to some of our Ranger buddies and different things, and the biggest piece of advice was, while you're in training, don't attach to anybody, because if they quit, you're gonna feel the need to quit. Did you ever have like a guy that you were just really tight with and you just hung with all the way through training, or?
I went to selection with another guy in my platoon, and we're still good friends today. And, you know, we made this pact is like, dude, it's all mental. Don't quit. But I see the truth in that, because especially if you're good friends with somebody, we got split up because of last names. I'm a B. He was an R and S type. And
An R and an S type.
yeah, well, Richards. So he was an R buck. I was going back to what alphabetical order.
Then come with the old nursing thing there. I think alphabet is part of that.
So we weren't really around each other. I don't think we're in the same section, but yeah, that's, you get a friend that quits. It's like, oh shit, man, that dude's hardcore. He's more in shape than me, and he can't hang. So it does get to you mentally if you have that. You just got to block that stuff out, though.
Yeah, because it just bring guys in like at the schoolhouse down at Lackland. You know, there'd be 120 guys walk in day one, and 60 would walk out, and by the end of the week there'd be 30.
Yeah,
you know, It was just mass attrition. It's mass attrition, and it's really hard. If you hook up with negative people, it's really hard to keep your positive attitude.
That is true. I think in the aspect of, you know, it really is all mental, and you just got to pause. Nobody's happy. Everybody goes through the same thing. I could say in the military schools I've been in, there's quitting will cross your mind. That's just how it is. Quitting will cross your mind. Oh man, I really want to be a nurse. It came through my head a couple of times. Now is my opportunity. All I can do is, if I get a couple hours of sleep, wake up. I would leave my MREs for everybody else. Hustle over there. I'm in and out. Nobody knows me. Nobody knows this. I go back and I become a nurse. And nothing against nurses. I'm just nothing against it. I love the medical field. I'm still might become one today.
I love nurses. Nurses, if you're out there, you're lonely, 1-900 Buck Petticord. So you get through selection. Where do you land?
I land at Fort Carson.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like, what's it like when you come out of selection and you think you've done something and you get to group?
Well, really, there you go. Selection. We skip the whole Q course, which is, depending on your MOS, about a year. So that's still at Fort Bragg, and I was stationed at Fort Bragg, so that was fine. And then when you get out there, it was, you know, I just go back to the cadre saying, hey, you know, don't be a tab wearer, be a tab bearer. What's that mean is, just because you graduated the Q course doesn't mean shit. You don't know shit. Show up, be a sponge, do your job. Don't walk through there with, it's, you know, with your Oakleys and beret on, because you really like, hey guys, I'm the shit. No, you got to earn your keep. And that's just how it goes everywhere. No, the new person has to be humble and willing to learn and accept it. But the biggest thing is more in SF than on the conventional side is, you know, you have to adapt to the team. You put 12 dudes together, there's 12 different personalities, but that team has a personality. And this is most of the problems I've seen, is that team's personality is one, and it's not the same as yours, but you better adapt to become a team player. And that's the bond that I still have with guys today, because you have to do that. The guys that can't do it are the guys who have bounced around from 3 or 4 different places and 3 or 4 different units. Not saying they're bad dudes.
They got a nice resume.
They got a nice resume, but that's part of the job, being a team player. That's the biggest part of the job I think people have a hard time being with.
And any like flash moments from the Q course, like just moments in there, or something that happened, or anything pops in your head.
Yeah, there's this this old Vietnam veteran. That was, anybody who's been to Bravo knows his name's Sully. He passed a while back though, but he was my instructor out there. This dude knew more about mortars and anti-tank guns than anything else. So we're out on the range one day, and he'd always set up his chair, and he's always eating Boston cream pies, those old school ones. I mean, he's just old, crusty, nasty bastard, dude. Always yelling at you and all this stuff. And he's online with his ear pro, and we're firing laws. And the minimum arm distance, see, I even forgot this stuff. We'll say 17 meters it was. Well, this guy, you know, if you ever squeeze a law, that it didn't like trigger, it's about a 12-pound trigger, went like this and shot it right in the ground, like exactly 17 feet. It went off, blew all this dirt. blew all this dirt over Sully's little Boston cream pie. And I had never seen that dude lose his shit, dude. He grabbed that mortar that was already expended and was like throwing it at the guy. I still remember that to the day because his Boston cream pie was all over his huge gut, and he's just going the fuck off on people.
Somewhere in here, somewhere we missed something. Like what's the name of your company again?
Lead Faucet Tactical.
Yeah, and how did the name Lead Faucet Tactical come about? Because I think it's happened before, kind of where we are in your progression.
It came about like this. It came about when I was in the conventional military. Of course, I'm a bigger sized dude, and the first thing you do is I get there and like, oh, here and
You're a bigger sized dude. Is that where you shop? Bigger sized dude store?
I'm an XL. I'm an double X right now, but I'm retired. I used to be an XL, maybe a large buck. I'm getting back that way. Hey, you're an AG for an M60 machine gun. All right, roger that. What's that mean? You hump like 1,000 rounds and a bunch of extra heavy shit. Awesome. Sounds great. The first jump to do a mock airfield seizure and training, the M60 gunner broke his leg. So Brokos, carry this. I said, and the AG gear, quit being a fucking smartass, private. I said, roger that. Give me it. It's not heavy. So we're walking it, and it's a live fire exercise, and I'm doing what I'm taught. I don't think I've ever been to the range yet. I just show up, and it's this live fire exercise, and I'm going 3 to 5 round bursts, and there was no Peltors back then. I don't think we even had Ear Pro, and my squaller's just going like this to me, and I'm like, dude, I can't hear you, bro. And he walked down, punched me in the gut, grabbed me. He's like, the fuck are you doing? Stop fucking around, turn on the lead faucet and start rocking this thing. I said, the lead faucet. And he just said, get the fuck out of the way. And was like dumping 30, 40 round bursts. He's like, that's the fucking lead faucet. I don't care what you hit, make it sound good. Roger that. So it's sort of stuck with me, lead faucet. People are like, what do you mean lead faucet? That means dumping some serious rounds down range. But still, in the business I'm in, we're still counting for every single round. We're just putting a bunch more down.
A bunch more. So you get out of selection, you wind up at Carson. Walk in. Did you I'm sure there had to be somebody there that either mentored you or made an impression.
Yeah, there was my very first team sergeant, Joe Esposito. I walked in there, and it was like if you looked up the word team sergeant in the SF dictionary, it would be him. Physical specimen, wired tight. I walked in, and I was like, "Roger that, Master Sergeant." And he's like, I know the test because I learned a lot from him. And you call everybody by their rank, and then everybody's like, dude, it's Dale, bro. I'm like, Roger, Sergeant. He's like, dude. And I was a staff sergeant, but I didn't have an ego or anything, and come in there and
Dan Brokos didn't have an ego or anything.
No, I don't. I like fucking with people, but I don't have a fucking ego.
All right. Okay. Well, there's a differentiation.
There is. I mean, when you fuck with people like, hey, who's this asshole? Dude, I just like joking around.
See, I don't get that because I'm not that kind of person. But go ahead.
Okay, Buck. Yeah. Anyway, he just physical specimen, and he's like, dude, it's Joe, and I stood and kept calling him Joe, and then it was like, hey, this, and this, and finally he was just a solid dude. He taught me right from wrong. Like, hey, here's what you need to do. Everything I talked about, being a team player, the team has a personality. When he sat down initially, talked to me for about an hour and a half, it all made sense. It almost was like my dad repeating himself to in front of me. So he was good. He was, and it's not that way everywhere. He had a lot to do with my career. He doesn't know it. I never told him, but he did.
You ever run into him anymore?
It's.
Like, I mean,
it's been somebody here. I would probably say 5 years ago. 5 years ago, when he hit me up and he's like, "Man, that's awesome. You're SF company sergeant major and blah 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 blah." And I'm like, "Joe, how you doing?" And you talk for like an hour and a half. He's like, "Hey, give me a buzz." And it's not like I wouldn't. If he walked in here right now, we'd drink till 5 o'clock in the morning. That's just how it is. And the law enforcement military the same. It's like you can see guys and You not see them in a year, and next thing you know, you're best friends, and we'll always be best friends. It's just people got lives, people got things to do.
How did that career progress from there in terms of the early years? Like what you, we're talking 95, 96, 97 by now?
Yeah, that was about 96 through 2000.
Yeah, which not a lot's happened in the world. I mean,
No, there was. We were involved in Bosnia and Kosovo
Yeah.
with that little skirmish going on.
So let me ask you that. Like, you're over there, and you look like everybody over there.
Yeah,
Like,
but
you
Yeah.
are as Polish and Eastern European as anybody ever.
I know
walked.
that's what I was always. I had long blonde hair back then, but
What?
I did
Blonde.
blonde. But I could shave my head and put on a leather coat and be the Russian bouncer in any nightclub over there.
Put on an Adidas tracksuit.
Yep, or Adidas
You've been the
tracksuit, be the
man.
Russian bouncer over there for sure. So that was what was going on, and then 2000, in 2000 I went to my, I would say, very first shooting course, which shaped my career, and that's where I spent my career as far as the direct action assault companies that SF have, and
What course was that?
that was Sephardic,
Yeah.
where I taught as the NCOIC, and then went back as the company sergeant major before I retired.
Yeah.
That's, everybody has their niche in SF, with dive teams, halo teams, mountain teams, all kinds of specialties out there. But the direct action shooting world sort of was what captured me in about 2000, which is 2020, 20 years ago.
It was a long time ago.
Long time. That's not too long.
I don't know. I look at 20-year-old girls and I think I have a chance. Oh no, 20 years
Now,
ago.
if you put it
like
that
they
way,
were
yeah,
born.
they were born. Yeah,
then,
you know
man.
what? 20,
Like, it's a long time ago.
20 years is a long time ago. But
It takes a long time to
you're right.
develop a girl.
I will agree with you.
20
20 years is a long time.
Right on. 01 changes the world.
01 changed the world for sure.
Where were you?
I was
September.
I was actually in Key West in dive school.
Huh?
Yep, I was in Key West in dive school when that happened. They pulled us all in. I remember watching on the news, and I'm like, we better get the fuck out of this course pretty damn soon. And yeah, it ended up changing the world. I think in a good aspect. I mean, we invaded countries for the right damn reason. But as far as military wise,
Stop. Explain that for a second, because a lot of people would say no, like we were sort in this, I don't know, sort in this blind utopia for a while, where we were just chasing money and Wall Street was doing their shit and everything was going on, and then the Twin Towers fall, and a whole bunch of cops and firemen run into it, and they save a bunch of people, but a whole bunch of people frickin' die, and we frickin' jump into Afghanistan in a week later, and you know what we've
then
been.
I think a year later it was Iraq.
We've been at war since. But
I think it was a different America back then. I want to get political here, but
No.
I just remember when that went off, it was, you couldn't walk down the street not see an American flag flying from a house.
Roger that.
Hey, nobody comes into America and does this. Nobody. And
Did anybody care back then, like who you were or what country you were from or whatever? You weren't American because they collapsed the freaking Twin Towers, and we were all Americans.
we're all Americans. Yeah, back then,
everybody was.
Yeah, it was.
There was we weren't burning down buildings because we looked different. We were at war with an ideology, not necessarily a religion, an ideology in a religion that fucking hates America and doesn't want anybody to be free and have
No, you're right.
free will.
And I think there's.
Thank you, Pat Shuck. I don't know why my bartender Skylar did not deliver that with the greatest shirt that I've seen in a long time, but whatever, it's okay.
Now I read something on the internet. I wish America was like Texans. What do you think? Everybody meet, where are you from? I'm from Texas. I mean, they're just proud to be a Texan.
Yeah, they're a little anal about Texas.
They are. You don't mess with Texas.
And we know
all
some
this
good
things
dudes down in Texas.
Yeah, we do. And that's how America was back then when it happened. And everybody rallied around that. And it was one team, one fight. I'm not saying it's not today, but it's a little bit different. Nobody had any qualms about, hey, we're doing the right thing. They just collapsed World Trade Center. I mean, I took it as, man, they invaded our country.
So you were at dive school. You got to remember that day. What was it?
Oh, September 11th.
Yeah, but I mean, you remember what you were doing.
It was one-man comp day, which is one of the hardest exams down there to do. And they pull us all in and let us watch the news of what was going on after that. So yeah, I remember that because that was like, hey, you pass one-man comp, it's smooth sailing. And that was the biggest attrition rate, was one-man comp down there.
What's one-man comp?
They put you in tanks in a blacked out mask, and put you in the deep end of the pool. I don't know what it is, 10, 12 feet. It's been so damn long. All I do is dive into pools and don't even swim. I just cool off. So.
Float like a whale.
Yeah, I float like a whale. They're
a sexy seal. And a seal, not all capital letters.
Just like the
just
animal
like
seal.
The animal seal.
Animal
Yeah.
seal. I'll take
Animal
that.
seal.
Yeah. I'll take that. Anyway, they spin you around and really disorient you. And if you're not coming from the water with a blackout mask, I thought I was floating in space. And then they'll pull your regulator out and they'll mess. And then they'll tie it up here and you got to do a ditch and don to get it. It's just it's a head game like everything else. And you think you can't breathe, but you'll be surprised how long you can hold your breath if you really, really want to accomplish something, because I wanted to rocket up and out of that thing like a damn whale so many times, but you just, hey, don't do it, dude. Don't do it. Fight through it. It's in your head, man. You can breathe, even though your body's telling you, hey, motherfucker, you need air in about 5 seconds. Your mind can say, no, dude, I got about 45 seconds to get this accomplished. So if that makes sense.
So they brought you in, you watch the news.
Mm-hmm.
Like what went through your head in the moment? Because you're a little lethal at that point.
I would say that I was like, man, nobody says anything to you. And back then I was kind of young. I was starting first class, but it wasn't like you call up and say, hey, this is going on. The guys in 5th group, I was in 10th, were immediately in isolation that day. So they knew. I'm thinking, oh man, Mountain, Afghanistan, we're rolling. And it didn't. It took us a year and a half to get over there as far as 10th group as that goes. And I tell you, that was horrible, watching it on the news. I'm glad we were over there, but at that point in time, I know people that were older people that were doing their SWIC time and were like, hey, report back to 10th group, and stop that 5th group and say, hey, dudes, can you get me in here? And some of them made it in there. But some of them did. Some of them made it in there.
Yeah.
And heck, I was even thinking about, dude, let's drive down there and just, but it all comes around and goes around, and it got evened out. They did rotations between all the soft units, and so it evened itself out. But it sucked not being the first guys in there. I wanted to go bad.
And so here in Wamego, and Wamego can't lay claim to Martin Nooch in any way, shape, or form. He grew up in Washington, Kansas, but they moved down to Kansas, which is just like 8 miles south of here. He comes around here, he sells his Horse Soldier bourbon, and like what is it, UDA 595? Is that right? It's written on a bottle over there. What is it, guys? Is that right?
Yeah, 595.
Yeah. The movie made it and one of the funniest things Mark Saber says is, he's like, the movie is really legitimate, and then it shows a picture of him standing next to, 595. Shows a picture of him standing next to who was the actor that played him?
Thor.
Yeah. What's his name?
Yeah.
Whatever. They show a picture of him standing. Mark said, yeah, the movie was totally just the way real life was. Only Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
And even he says, my wife thinks that the movie was an improvement over real life. So you guys you're just driving on, going through the pipeline, doing your training, doing all this stuff, trying to get a chance to go. When did you get your first chance to go?
03.
Yeah. Where'd you go?
Camp Justice, Baghdad. It was an old supposed torture chamber that Saddam used. It was on the towns between Atamidi and Katamia.
What's the biggest thing from that first deployment in the global war on terror that pops out in your mind? I guess I should ask how many over the years did you do in the Mideast?
I would say the biggest thing that pops out, the very first one is you go down there and your expectations and reality sort of meet because you don't know what is going on. What was my first deployment. But, we trained hard and worked hard and you adapt from there. A lot of TTP changed for us down there as far as things going on. But that's what you get paid to do. You get paid to, I hate to say it, adapt and overcome, but think of man's game. You're not a robot. That's the difference between, being in the soft heat. You're allowed to free think and adapt and do things and think out of the box. And they teach that in the Q courses. Hey man, you gotta, not everything happens out of manuals for a reason. It's like, we've never seen that before. Well, then come up with a game plan collectively, not just individually, to defeat that. And that's sort of what it was. It was a good learning curve. Learned a lot about weapons as far as engagements, because prior to the war, I always stayed on the flat range. We're caught in this CQB world of shooting El Presidente at 10 meters. Well, that's not reality. And there's a reason why your optic shouldn't be on top of a carrying handle, because that's a 3.75 inch height above bore and you can't hit shit at the long range. Yeah, so right. It was, I could go back and list, hey, what'd you learn from first deployment? And we could talk about 2 hours. Not that I made notes, but I still capture in my head, how to deal with a foreign nation. Patience. There's a lot of life learning lessons over there, and especially when somebody trying to take your life. That's something you can't train for is, man, the mental awareness and the adaptation that goes into you. But there's also a lot of psychological, I don't say side effects, things you have to figure out. It's like, hey, dude, fear is natural. How do you overcome that? I don't know. Everybody's different. I would just get pissed off to overcome it. If that makes sense. Everybody's like, oh shit, my stomach's tingling and I don't want to do this. I want to go home. But at the end of the day, I was in a place where, man, I'm doing it for the team. You got to believe in your fight and your cause and who you're working for. And then you don't worry about your family. You're worried about the mission's always first. And that's what popped in my head. I don't give a shit about my family. It sounds cruel. I care about the mission and the dudes when I'm over there. Everything else is irrelevant.
In that first deployment, do you have anybody that you like guys that you were really tight with that something happened and that formed something for the rest of your life? Whether they're here today or not.
Yeah, bonds are formed when you get people that are. I think the bonds are formed because you put yourself in these situations that take a lot to overcome. And there's always fear that, hey man, we're not going to get out. There's always people getting hurt. There's people getting killed. So at the end of the day, you form these bonds with people that, like I said in the get-go, I've seen a couple dudes on my first deployment in 15 years, and they'd walk in today and we'd be best friends.
Yeah,
just because they've lived that life with me, not just that time, but several other deployments with other people. So you got a common bond with anybody who's done that stuff, not just guys on your team. I think it's a common bond that everybody shares.
Yeah. So I've seen things, on and off, like at different conferences and shit that we're trained at, or a SHOT Show or something. And dudes, and I'm telling you, when dudes walk up to Dan Brokos, they have this look on their face, and they have this, and it's something from the past. It has nothing to do with seeing you at SHOT Show or at TTPOA, or it's this, and you guys, and then we walk away and you go, yeah, that's a really good dude. Like he was just a badass dude, back in the day. And then that's about all you say,
I'm a man of few words, Buck. You know this.
That's not true. All right. So first deployment, How long? Like what? Any like
It was.
kind of how would you categorize your first deployment over there?
I would tell you to summarize them. There, and everybody will know this. Sometimes you sit on your ass. Believe it or not, it's not the movies. Sometimes you're mixing it up 4 or 5 days straight, maybe longer. Sometimes I've sat on my ass, not sat on my ass, but as far as nothing happening. You get a bad dust storm or something in there. You don't have the ISR platforms. There's never a lot of downtime. I would say that there is, but it's still great training because you're in an environment that you could nothing happening, but you need to know that walking from your house or driving to the gym, which is on your base, that you could get mortared, you could take RPG fire, and they decide to break the front gate or blow up the chow hall at any moment in time. You're always switched on, so it's great training for that. It's like you have to pretend that, man, your guns are always on you. You take them everywhere. Your body armor, even though you're working out, you're like, somebody can walk in every time, and it's doesn't take a while to get used to, but it's great mental conditioning for my first time. And then later on, when we had new dudes that, hey, this is your first deployment, that's great mental conditioning for them, if that makes sense.
Do you look at it as mental conditioning? Because some people look at it as just like terrible stress and it breaks them down. And I think that does separate some people.
It does. There's people that, and there's, everybody's different. A lot of people have problems from that right now is coming back and not be able to say, this. Perfect example, before I retired, I went in there and was getting my physical, and it was a great Intrepid Spirit program down at Camp Lejeune. And the guy just says, part of his test, he's like, hey, I want you to lay on there. I got to type some stuff up, finish some paperwork. I want you to lay down there and take a nap if you want. I was just like, the fuck's this, dude? He's like, no, I'm serious, dude. Take a nap, bro.
Today that would have worked for me because I slept like baby this afternoon, but go ahead.
And I'm like, really? And so he shut off the lights. He's on his computer screen. I'm laying right here, and I can see him. And like every 5 seconds, I'm just looking at him like, dude, when's this going to start? And he's like, dude, seriously, sleep. And I'm like, then he put a pulse ox on me. It was actually higher than probably what I walked into because I didn't know him.
Because the laying on the table was killing you.
And I don't know this guy. It's the first time meeting him, and there's no way I'm going to fall asleep on him, And he's like, hey man, this is, you should be able to do this, but we understand why you can't. And I'm just, that's one of the stress factors that I think always stay with you. But everything's different now. I'm not saying I'm retired now and there's not stress in life, but I'm lucky to be alive. That's how I see it. It's step one. So life's pretty fucking good if you're alive. It really is. It's in a jokingly way. There's a lot of people out there that were in the military that fought in Afghanistan, Iraq, and other places that aren't here. They're out, all the way back to World War I. I use my experience, and it's like if I remind myself of that during having a bad day, then life's pretty damn good.
Well, there's a lot of people out there who are like their heart rate and tells them they're alive, but they're not living life. And then there's a lot of people out there, really good people who took a different choice and aren't living life. There's a lot of people that tragically didn't finish, But yeah, living life is more than just being alive.
You're right. I get that. But in that aspect, it was just something I always think about because I've had friends having bad days. I started having bad days about 2008 when I took a break because I wasn't used to that. And then my first year and a half of retirement was horrible. I'll be honest. You can ask my wife.
Do you think it's separation more than the stress?
I do,
because stress while you're there, you don't even know it.
No,
and we're from two different backgrounds, but I'm just saying, from my background, the stress that I had when I was there, I didn't even know it. It was when I wasn't there anymore. I mean, like it just all
no, because shit. If you asked when things started dialing back in like 2010 to 4 months on, 8 months off, and all the soft guys and regular Army guys were doing a fucking year and then a year off. I mean, everybody's equally the same. When it started dialing back, it would be like, hey guys, instead of 6 teams, we're only sending 3, and these are practically being fist fights. They want to go back, so it's not like, holy shit, it's so stressful. That you want to do your job, you want to go back, and I agree. I don't think it's the stress more aspect. I think it's for me, when I retired, I'm not part of anything. I've been in this organization for almost 27 years. You establish something, you have friends, I had a path in life. I had a reason to exist. When I retired, I was just like, fuck, dude. Hey, good job, Dan. My retirement party, I still remember.
Everybody loves it.
I still remember it to the T, dude. This is awesome. Dude, I'm glad I'm starting the next chapter of my life. And then I'm like,
but you're never going back to the house again.
I'm like, fuck, dude, how do I get back in?
Right. Yeah.
But you learn to adapt to that. And, I go back and look, and now you ask me, I'm like, you know what? I'm glad I'm retired. I'm glad I can spend more time with the family. I'm glad I'm doing what I'm doing. And every year's an improvement over that.
So other deployments, like things have popped out, over those years of deployments, those years of global war and terror, stuff that pops out, like because your primary love is in a soldier, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but you also did some time on the long rifle side of the house and things like that.
Things that popped out, learning points.
Yeah, anything that just pops in your mind, like somebody says something pops in your mind, you're like, I'm not going to talk about that. I don't care,
I would say I go back and look at this is the mental aspect compared to the physical aspect. And I learned this in selection because everybody's saying it's mental. But it really, really is the fact that I can remember this one deployment in Afghanistan when we had to move to conduct an SR mission, an ungodly amount of terrain at night that we way underestimated. And we wanted to make it to our ORP on the backside of this mountain where we're going to take the military crest that following morning. And we were easily 5 hours short because the terrain was so hard. And, there's people like, dude, we need to fucking sleep. I'm like, well, dudes, I'm going to tell you what, I thought about it. We pretty much drank all of our water on infill. But I'm like, dude, we're in the middle of nowhere. We've heard what's happened previous years of teams getting caught in the middle of nowhere. We're a small element. We have no QRF. We have no ISR, no aircraft overhead. We're going to suck it the fuck up and make this fucking movement. I'm fucking smoked. And I'll be honest, we had to cross-load some stuff from some guys that just couldn't physically make this mountainous terrain at this point in time, let alone that, you have the possibility of coming under fire. We ended up being compromised on this hilltop. I want to say it was a good or bad thing. We didn't fail the mission. We didn't complete our mission. I'll say that. When you're out of food and water, and it was like, no, motherfuckers. We would have stayed up there next to 2 days. We still had 48 hours left, but we got compromised. But now we had to move down terrain to our exfil, which was just as worse. Guys falling. The exfil was unplanned because we got compromised from our exfil side of the mountain, so we had to go to the other side. And I still remember we had comms, and we told them, and we were coming down, and we were receiving fire as we got closer to this village. And next thing I know, 8 gun trucks just started ripping open. And I'm like, fuck yeah, the boys are here. The boys are fucking here, dude. The boys are here. And
we need a t-shirt. The boys are here.
And nobody was tired or sucking anymore. Nobody was demotivated because, we were going down this, and we're doing bountying and Overwatch, and it's taking forever, and it's just as hard as going up. We got all kinds of gear, and comms were done at that point in time. We had a grid for link up, and we're like, let's just continue to move. No comms plan. All this planning takes place for a reason. There's a no comms plan for a reason. Well, we had no more battery life in our radios. You could say that was a failed plan. No, it wasn't. It was just shit happens sometimes. Radios break, especially when the guy carrying the radio rolls about 40 meters down a hill. Shit happens. And my company sergeant major was part of the boys that day, and I still remember it. I'm like, fuck yeah, Bob. That's what I'm talking about.
Broderick had one of those, and it's not that big of a deal, but I don't know what you call Air Force Special Operations weathermen, but anyway, they have a ton of these dudes operating over there. And so they get every day they get the weather reports. This is what the weather is in your AO. This is what the weather is where you're going to your op. And they were like in 3 or 4 inches of snow. And Broderick said the guy in front of him jumped off the helicopter and disappeared. No, Broderick's 6'4", 6'5". He jumps off because it's like nipple high. We're supposed to be 3, 4 inches of snow. And the guy looks at him and says, I think maybe you should leave the way, because he's like, he's a little short guy. Like, snow, they're busting like snow going in. Yeah, good shit.
Yeah, that's if you've been in my classes, I talk about muzzling the dirt a lot. But I also say I know why they invented barrel caps. I used to think they were for parades, and having a barrel cap was like, I remember when I was growing up, it's like, oh, put your barrel, a little plastic cap back on it. Why? We don't want any dirt to get in there. I thought it was the stupidest thing ever until I hopped off a helicopter in 4 feet of mud, and luckily I had a cleaning rod and putting that thing out. Then I was like, hey guys, I did this mission once when I was a team sergeant, or when I wasn't a team sergeant. Why are we putting barrel caps on, Dan? I'm like, because you never know what you're gonna hop out of the helicopter into. So put your barrel cap. And it happened. I'm like, I told you fuckers.
What would you say, like over the years, what would you say the one, and I'm gonna guess it has something to do with contingencies, but what would you say the one thing from deployment to deployment to deployment that made you successful, or your team successful, whether you were leading it or whether you were following somebody? What do you think the things are that make operations like that in that environment successful?
I think overall, and I speak not just for my team I was on, my troop I was on, my company I was part of, but I think guys that are successful in general have a work ethic and go through contingencies and expect the unexpected, which you have to do. You have a plan, stick to it, but you better rehearse other contingencies. And I grew up, SF guys on the Army side of the house are meticulous planners, and we never blew a plane off. We always had a PACE plan, primary, alternate, contingency, emergency, which is brief today. And I always have one right now. Hey, here's my primary, alternate, contingency, emergency that goes through my head, not in depth, but you always had that. And, when you have to execute your C of the PACE plan, it's going to be a goat fuck because shit really went wrong. But if at least you have talked about it and rehearsed it and had one, you're far better off.
How do you keep communications during those? As you get past your primary, you go to your alternate, go to contingency. At some point, an emergency pops up. How do you keep your communications in your unit? Because that's the money right there.
Yeah, I think it comes with training. I really do. You can go out, and I always correlate to what I do now. You can go out there and shoot your carbon with both hands in the prone all day long, but until you're shooting at one harm around a vehicle or a barricade, then switch to your left and have a throw malfunction in there. That's when you start to learn stuff. So I think that I take that back to I call it small unit tactics or deployments down there, and the communication aspect of it comes down to training together, because no operation is ever smooth. No operation has complete command and control. You have to expect that sometimes that dude's radio probably got knocked out of his ears, so he's not hearing you. So you have to physically come up and grab him and move people the old way. I was hand and arm signals.
And who was in charge of that in your units, like in your small units or squads? Who was in charge of that?
You usually had a assault cell leader who was in charge of 4 dudes. You have
five-man team.
5-man team. You got let's say we had 4 assault cells. You got a team leader from one of those. Then you have a troop sergeant major who's overall responsible for command and control. And if he could talk to that team, hey, where are you at? Man, I am literally 2 blocks on the back side of this house, dude. That's where this engagement from. You guys good? Yep. All right. It's dude, no comms. Hey, dude, come with me. I have to go put eyes on these motherfuckers. So, that's the alternate of no comms.
Yeah.
All right, what's the contingency if they don't hear from at all? Well, then you grab 4 more dudes and reinforce that self. You have no comms from at all because you don't know what's happening to them. So all those little pieces of training together, working out those contingencies and lessons learned from your previous deployment. And we did a pretty good job of saying, hey, here's what's going on in the world, soft general. How do we fix, everybody makes mistakes, but if you don't learn from them, you're not going to be better that way.
So
And,
I don't want to get political, but on the civilian side, civilian law enforcement side, stuff like that, we get into things where they're like, well, we don't want military tactics because we're civilian law enforcement. My bitch is tactics they're not military like tactics are principles.
Yeah,
they're principles, man. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter whether you're military. It doesn't matter whether you're law enforcement. It doesn't matter whether you're SWAT. It doesn't matter whether you're riot control. It doesn't matter whether you're an individual dude buying drugs somewhere. Like they're just tactics, And it really, the thing we fail at in America in terms of civilian law enforcement is we fail at that communication side where it's almost like we fail at trust, because if you have comms, you got to trust the dude the guy can't wait to get hey, here's what you do. And I think that's the difference between SF and a lot of other conventional sides. Like you guys just make a decision.
You do. You don't wait on, you don't wait on the leadership if there's a no comms plan. Whoever's on that ground, I don't care if you're not with a leader, those two make a decision. That dude needs to be able to make a decision. Yes. Hey, dude, why the fuck you sitting on the back side of that building during this entire assault? Oh, I didn't get the word we're pulling in. Well, we fucking forgot, bro.
Right.
It comes down to that. But I know what you're saying. I think there's a lot of great law enforcement agencies out there that by hands down, and we're not.
And the vast majority of cops are good dudes,
and we're not knocking them. But you're right. But
I do knock the bad ones, and I do knock the really bad administrators.
Yes,
I'll knock them all day long. I'll call them out all fucking day long because they're hanging really good guys out to dry.
Yes.
Like I think that's the separation between undercover and SWAT for the most part. And I'm you know what? Hey, NTOA, hit me up, whatever. But some of this stuff's bullshit, man. Like you can't indoctrinate special operations and law enforcement. Dude's got to make decisions on the ground, in that room, in that building. They have to make decisions. I get maybe the whole United States should make decisions a little closer to each other. But you know what? A guy doing raids in Detroit and a guy doing raids in Potawatomi County, Kansas, these are different animals. They're different situations. That's what you guys did. You guys flowed. You guys a little bit independent thinkers, only within up to what, a 5-man unit.
Yeah, but you're allowed to be, and that's you get paid to be.
Yes.
You get paid to do that. And nobody was like, I've had, when I was troop sergeant majors, cell leaders, team leaders, frago shit. Hey, dude, why did you do that? And I didn't on me go mode. Well, that door really wasn't a door. I know we're supposed to breach the white side, but when we hit up, we couldn't it had 2 steel bars and we didn't have the appropriate charge. So we already knew there was our contingency was on the red side. So that's what we ended up putting the charge.
Yes.
Okay. That's what I pay you to do. Not put a charge that won't work on a door.
Were you guys color sides?
No, we started that way.
We were color sides. Because we're SAS based.
Yeah,
we're color sides.
We started that way, and
yeah,
I don't.
All our training came from you guys back in the 90s, but that was color. It was SAS, SF, and then that's where our SWAT team got our stuff was from that pipeline. So we were color side, but nobody else in Kansas was. Somehow we were just.
It morphed because you got dudes we were color, but war changed it a lot when you can just say, "Hey, dude, I'm on the primary breach point, which is the front fucking door."
Right on. And I forgot already how many deployments you do during global war on terror?
Between 2003 through 12, 8
deployments. Like, what do you think? Like, highlight successes and maybe a highlight failure, because there's a lot to be learned from failure. Maybe start with the failure and then go to the highlight success. Let's start with that one.
I wouldn't say everything was a failure. As far as any of the deployments weren't a failure.
No, I mean like a mission, like an individual thing that just was a highlight. Like, God damn it.
We got a little bit too crazy with, I think, now that I go back and look, in 2004 with the jackass assaults, we had a lot of blown opportunities to capture people, and we just thought we could haul ass through the neighborhoods and drive up to the door. Then you go back to 2008, and it was like, hey, dude, let's fucking walk in. Make sense? I won't say failures, but I mean, if we were doing the same task.
Drive to the front door.
Yeah. Jackass assault, we call it. You drive to the front door,
we
hop
didn't
on
call
out.
it that, but
Well,
we
that's
used
what
to
it's
do
called.
that a lot.
We did a lot of jackass assaults.
We used to drive to the front door, jump out, and just beat the shit out of things.
Yep. So I would think nothing was a failure, but I don't know why we didn't figure that shit out earlier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, you come home and literally there's a hot plate with food on it. The kitchen's open. It's like, what do you think those dudes on the rooftop are doing with their cell phones? Duh. You know?
Yeah. What about successes? Like some stuff you did over there that you think changed the course, maybe changed the course of history. Like every now and then you do something, and it doesn't matter whether history acknowledges it or not, but every now and then, like you hit somebody or you hit something, and it really makes a difference in the whole area of operations.
I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's all right. I mean, I gave you the outline before we started.
Yeah, you did, Buck. It's in your head, just like on the flat range. Just like on the flat range, it's in your head. I'm gonna say, success-wise was. I think. I only think because it was one of our weak points was mobility and vehicles, and the ability to start doing drop-offs at long-range distances, driving four-wheelers, mobility vehicles in, and especially in certain parts where you can't do a jackass assault, you can't walk in. So coming up with a diverse plan. Some of them phased infills, half gaff combos. Hey, we're going to walk in, then we're going to fly in because we know the aircraft's going to get compromised, but they don't know we're already on the ground. So I think a lot of our
the mix in the infill really confused.
To sum it up, the greatest success I think we have is our adaptation of our TTPs over time. Does that make sense?
And do you think that in the end is the I don't know, the advantage of SF? Like, do you think that, like, if you would say, hey, and I'm not saying you run down anybody else.
No,
what do you guys do?
I think it is the advantage because you know what? There's no manuals written over the shit we're doing, and I think everybody's like, well, what's the SOP? What's the manual say? How do I conduct a raid? Well, there's a manual that tells you how to conduct a raid, but it's the times change. TTPs have to evolve.
As your career progressed, from a follower to a leader. What'd you take with you? How were you successful as a leader? Based on what you did as a follower. You know what I mean?
I think I was a follower. I would say I was successful just due to my hard work and tenacity and love of the job. I think as a leader, I was successful because I actually listened to the guys you're in charge of and wanted to get to know them, because at no point in time did I want to hug a wife that I've never met, even at company sergeant major level. I didn't get to know everybody, but there was no point in time that I said, hey man, I didn't want to know who the fuck is their company sergeant major. Well, this is who I am, type of expert, and actually put them in front of me. I loved my job, but I tell you, the day I left operational as company sergeant major, it felt like, holy shit, I didn't know what to do with myself. I was sad, but it was also felt like this 1,000-pound weight lifted off my shoulders, because the only motherfucker I had to care about besides my family was Dan Brokos. Before, I think successful leadership cares about everybody you work for. I'd come in and I worked out and did everything with the dudes, but that's not your primary job anymore. You have to do that, but you can't be selfish of a good leader. You really can't. I like myself a lot, and I like to do things, and I did that my entire time as a follower. Damn, we broke them down. Dan's going to the fucking range and burn it on down. Well, there's other dudes you have to take care of that have problems and issues, and you have to set up training for them. So you just got to be unselfish.
Do you find do you find something along those lines where when you had an opportunity to train and be like super freaking solid in every technique that you do and be a world-class shooter, a world-class fighter, do you ever find anything now where we're working with some people who have never had those opportunities, and it's hard to sell that to them? Because you're out there, man. You're in the civilian world, you're in the law enforcement world, but you're still training some SF guys. We just did a week with a bunch of TACPs. You know what I mean? But do you ever find where it's like, damn, like I gotta sell this to some dude somewhere because their life depends on it and their team depends on it?
I wouldn't say sell it. I just hope they have an open mind, and that was always taught. I mean, I've none of my extremities ever been injured. But I've had friends that have had that. And, why do you think we shoot strong and support? Is because not that it's never going to happen to me. And I was just taught, well, growing up, don't let it be the first time it happens in reality, it should happen on the flat. It should happen in training. I just use flat ring example. It needs to happen in training before it happens in reality. So you see what's going on. It's never happened to me. So I don't be like, hey guys, this might never happen to you. I'm like, this will happen to you eventually. So my mindset is, and I run it all the time. I wouldn't say sell on them. It was just, you have to have an open mind in any line of work you have, especially in law enforcement, military. If you don't have an open mind and willing to change and adapt new ideas, then you're the same dude doing the same raid in 2004 compared to 2012.
Yeah. No, I'm like 1995 to, I don't remember when I quit, 17, maybe 2017. I'd like to say I retired, but I fucking quit. I just gave up and I quit. But that was a long time. I deserved to quit at that point. Like, that's not quitting. You deserve that at some point. But you know what? I don't teach the same things today I taught in 95. I don't teach the same thing, in 05. I don't teach the same, and you just and then you look back and you're like, fuck, hope those dudes in my shit in 95 found somebody that fixed their stuff because we were wrong. We weren't wrong. We just didn't know we were wrong.
And I call that being in receive mode. I'm still in receive mode today. I would be lying. And the good thing about my job, because you work with me and you do your training as well, is, man, I would be lying if I didn't learn something almost every single class I'm out there
from students.
Every
now and then somebody teaches me something. So it's like,
crap, Dan, how do you stay relevant?
Yeah.
Well, I'm in touch with people, but every time I work a military class, especially on the soft side or a SWAT team that's switched on, I'm like, dude, who showed you that? That's pretty fucking badass.
Yeah. Couple things from those years of deploying, training, working hard, all the, in and out. You got your spin ups. You don't have a ton of downtime. The family life is tough.
Yeah, I'm on wife number 2. It is tough. No, that's on. I mean, it's all for the best. I'm glad I'm on wife number 2.
But you literally laid the groundwork in that. Like family. Man, I love my family. All this, except my team was my priority. But and you know what? I feel guilty over that. But I'm telling you, there's a big chunk of my life. My kids turned out great. I think their mom was pretty good, evidently, because I wasn't. But you know what I mean? I was doing was my priority, and nothing at home was my priority.
Yeah, and I get it. We'd come back from a deployment, and it'd be awesome because you'd come home and make sure the kids are in bed super early. But then it was
give them a little Benadryl, some Jack Daniels Benadryl.
Let's say you get 3 weeks off. You come home super early. put the kids to bed and have a great time. And about like day 6, I got to go into work. I forgot something. And next thing you know, you got everybody at fucking work, lifting, working out. And they're like, hey, dude, it's party at my house. And the wives are like, hey, motherfuckers, you guys just spent 4 to 6, 7 months together. And why?
But you're back together.
But you're back together, fucking working out and drinking together. And it pissed some off, but most of them understood to be like, fuck.
There's some that are, and I don't even know that. I don't even remember her name, but it's Ski's wife. Ski's wife is the quintessential freaking SF wife in the world, right? Like she's like, she gets it. She tags along. She's like, okay, we're gonna go down the bar and pick up Dan Brokos now because the table's coming through the window or whatever it is. Like she's just calm as hell. Like, oh yeah, no, that's how everything melts. It's all fine. We're gonna go.
It's good, but this is normal. We know it.
It's normal.
The guys went out and their DD didn't end up being DDing, and then 4 of them went over here.
Right home.
We have know where the fuck they're at. So as the girls' crew, we're gonna get all of our husbands back to the fucking house and tell them trip's over.
But that's a hard job. That's not even really fair to ask that of people, is it?
No. I think most military wives do a great job, and I feel for them. I can go back and look at it and be like, damn, she pretty much raised my boys.
Yeah.
They turned out great. Yeah, they
you were
loved
the
me.
role
I loved
model,
them.
but she raised them,
She
right?
raised them, She raised them.
And that's a big deal.
And it sounds shitty to say, but the aspect you have to have that mentality downrange is like, man, the team's got to go first. Now, you can call and talk to them, but I sort of tuned out. It sounds horrible, but it was easier for me to, hey, you gonna call? Yeah, I'm super busy, and we've been sitting on our ass for 4 days because of the sandstorm. And just, man, I didn't want to have the feelings of missing them. It was great to get pictures and all that, but you sort of tune out a little bit, and I think you have to.
And technology has changed since you started. And it's better.
It's
in a lot of ways.
I'm glad there was no. We barely had the dial-in Skype, and you come in and be all fuzzy, but And then I'm like, we need internet to run work, but
it's kind of like Skylar running around behind us with her top down, like. But that's what you want from your wife.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I used to do that on our team, and I didn't care how dudes handled it. I didn't care. I never called anybody before a raid. I never called anybody after a raid. I was just doing my shit.
Yeah.
Some guys, and they're like, "Hey, I'm getting ready to go. I love you, baby." And fine. If that's your thing, fine. And then afterwards, I'm okay. I'd be 10 hours afterwards, drunk, far somewhere, high-fiving everybody because we fucking crushed it, right? And forget, shit, man, I got a whole family that doesn't have a clue whether I'm okay or not. It doesn't have to do with, 6 months or a year downrange. I'm just saying, I just forgot about that shit.
Well, I'll tell you a funny story about that. I forget what year it was. We were in Iraq, and I was in E7 at the time, and you had, believe it or not, PACE plan, primary alter contained emergency.
Right.
You had dudes hitting the house, you had dudes at isolation containment, you had dudes in blocking positions. Each one of those key leaders had a cell phone. Why not? You can talk on a cell phone
because it works there.
So he had those hanging up, and that was part of the key leaders would grab cell phones. It's part of the comms plan. Well, we had one that you could call home on. But that one was broken, so everybody's using that one. I'm like, dude, it's broke. Oh, yeah, just use this one. All right, so everybody's using that one. We're out one day, and dude on containment was like, ring, ring, ring. He's like, hello? Is Dan there? It's my ex-wife. And he's like, who the fuck is this? This is his wife. Something wrong? No. Why the fuck you calling it? It's on a fucking mission. So he come back, Dan, what the fuck, dude? I'm like, dude, that's the phone everybody's using, man. No, it's not. That's his phone. I said, you motherfuckers, dude. You motherfuckers been using that same phone too, haven't you? And I'm like, yeah. Hey, boss man, we've been using it. Fucking don't use it anymore.
That's hard to explain to people that don't. You know what I mean? It's hard to explain to good dads and good parents and good family people. It's hard to explain why It's hard to acknowledge why we're not good people. I don't know. It's hard.
I think we
like,
are,
why do you
but
put
everybody,
something ahead of? I don't know.
I don't know. It is. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
none of us.
We're not.
We know.
Everybody in the same boat as us is probably still trying to figure it out.
Yeah,
why you did that for so many years, but I think you had to. And I think that's what you were designed to do, in some aspect of that way.
No, I think you just hit something on nail on the head. We are who we are, and we can deny who we are all day long and try to be somebody else, and we can't, man. Like at some point, like a years of guilt of I'm not a good dad, I'm not a good whatever it is. You know what? No, there's no part of me ever would have been. I just am who I am.
Yeah, I tell you
and
what.
I got drawn to something that I became successful in because I am who I am.
I don't think it ever leaves you though, because I still feel like I'm a shitty dad now.
No, don't. Guilt never leaves you. Yeah. Guilt's an asshole. Like guilt just eats you up.
But then I go back and look. I'm called selfish a lot. But then you go back and look. If you feel so guilty, would you change anything? Absolutely
no.
Fucking
God,
not.
no. Like I might have changed a couple things down the road.
Yes,
but it would have made me worse. Like it would have taken me deeper into the rabbit hole than what I went. You know what I mean? Like there's a point where you just go, oh, you're a really bad person. You need to stop going the rabbit hole. No, if I could go back and change it, I'd go deeper in the rabbit hole. That's how deep. Yeah. That's the change I would have made.
I got you.
So we're getting towards the end of your career. Let's just say last deployment.
The guys were in Afghanistan. It was dying down, so I had the ability to only half the company went. But I'll say this: I arrived about 3 weeks after them. Went down there. I've been to the space before. Most of the dudes haven't. And they came down. They're like, hey, Sergeant Major, we're going to take a walk onto this outlook and get a badass team photo. Of course, you have all your shit on because you just busted the wire. So we came back and like, hey, let's go get some chow. Steve was the team sergeant, good dude. Let me eat chow with the fellas because when I took over, the whole Benghazi thing happened. So I left with that half of the company. The other half came back and was deploying. So I literally didn't even meet some of these dudes until I linked up with them downrange. Went down there, we did this walk and we're all going to eat breakfast and I was going to talk to everybody and we're in full kit and next thing you know, machine guns are going off and, they had whatever they call it, green on blue, blue on green. One of the A&A guys stole a gun truck with a 50 cal, pulled up to the chow hall and just started going to town. Fortunately enough, that some of their guys were already over there maneuvering and seeing these dudes and whacked them.
It's kind of a memorable event.
But I ended up saying, hey, I stepped out of it. Great team start. What are you going to do? You go with him and you and the sergeant major are going to clear these 4 buildings. And they dissected the camp. There was a conventional camp. They pretty much took it over and said, just stop what you're doing. Everybody we have to clear this compound. We don't know how many dudes they're doing. We will do the CQB of everything. You need to tell everybody and pull them back into a certain location. Everybody has a base shit the fan plan. Shit the fan plan when you're down there.
Shit hit the fan plan.
Shit hit the fan plan.
Just to help you out there.
Yeah. So that's what we ended up doing, and that was my first day down there with the dudes.
First day.
I'm like, hey guys, we're gonna postpone my little talk and until about 1600.
Right on.
But it was good at that aspect to see those dudes as far as meeting them in those situations because they're, that stuff happens and it's dead sprint to the fight. No hesitation. No hesitation.
That somehow somewhere that clicked something in my mind. I got a question for you. SF is a really small community in the military. SWAT's a really small community in law enforcement. Undercover's a really small community in law enforcement. You know what I mean? These are small communities. And yet, like you've heard of people or you just hardly don't know anybody because small communities break down into really small communities, right? Like there's a lot of guys out there selling shit that you've heard of, but you never worked with.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
it's because you're on different rotation cycles, or you just, that's usually what it comes down to. I mean, small elements, go, come back, go, come back. Organizations don't work past really company level. That's what it is. I mean,
like cops meet an SF guy, and then you meet another SF guy. Hey, you know him?
Yeah, I know.
And they're like, what?
It's
no,
a small
I've
world.
never.
Who the fuck
no,
is
I
he?
fucking don't know him at all,
And then,
man.
time and time goes by. It's like,
right. What was it like after your last deployment to the end of your career?
it was a good tour. I ended up working at Range 37, which is the SF schoolhouse for assault and sniper operations, where we could. I went there, and it's not, say, my first admin job. It's the second time I worked there, so I know the ins and outs of that course. It's my only two operational breaks. I've been at Range 37, working there. It was good because I kind of knew I was going to retire, because Dan's never done any staff time, and you need staff time to sort of move up. But I was happy with that. I was happy.
You're pretty close to pinnacle, though.
Developing POIs for marksmanship, CQB. Not me. I had guys doing that.
But you're really great at writing those down, sending it out to your AIs.
Right? I am, dude. Yeah, I'm on it, dude. You get bugged. The class started at 6. You got it at midnight.
I've got 6 hours.
You got 6 hours to digest it. Yeah.
Go on.
What are we talking about?
You're talking about your.
Oh, you just said, hey, my last.
7.
Oh yeah, dude, that's where I ended my career.
I'm sorry, I diverted you.
It was like this. It's like, hey, I could have took another job. Yeah. I see like this, man. I won the Super Bowl, or I thought it like this. I was in the Super Bowl. That was a great job to have. Not too many people come back there as a company sergeant major. Out of all the SF sergeant majors, it's a hard job to get. So I felt like I was in the Super Bowl, and I didn't want to try to find another job and not go out on top. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I just decided to retire and leave from there and put in an extra year. It's a 2-year assignment. I asked for 3, not so I could retire, just because, I'd say the art of gunfighting is near and dear to my heart. It's the pinnacle of every mission. I don't care what you do. At the end of the day, you're pointing a gun at somebody, then why isn't gunfighting that important to you?
And that I don't want to talk about anybody in the industry, because I don't care what people do. I don't care what they make. I don't make any money, Dan. I'm a nobody in this industry. But you know what? Like the art of gunfighting, it's not really about shooting. It's about processing information. Like shooting should have been done 100 years ago. Like all that should be ingrained. It's about processing information, making decisions under those environments. And how do we train that? Well, I don't know. Maybe you disagree. Tell me if you disagree.
Man, you can't really train that. You can in training, but it's not going to be as realistic as somebody actually taking your life.
Because you get on me. Like, I fuck up some drills now and then. You go, bro, like you're going to get somebody hurt doing this.
Yeah.
And I go, shit, I never thought of that. Because I'm trying to ingrain dudes to do something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm totally 100% with you when you call me out on that stuff. I'm 100% with you. But how do we do that? Because that's our job now. We're old dudes.
I think if you make them comfortable with, let's just say, what we just did this week. When we first started transitioning these guys from strong to support side, they're like, fuck no. Yeah. And even handguns. Me and Tom looked at you like, dude, we might not get the vehicles, but repetition. Hey dudes, this ain't a big deal. Keep them comfortable with it. At the end of the day, you question asks like, hey, can we give them the psychological aspect of getting in a gunfight behind a vehicle? No, we can't, but we can teach them the tools when that psychological effect comes in that is ingrained in them to do the right thing. That is, shoot on your support side, shoot the various positions, know your hold off between your octave. If you do that on the flat range, that psychological stress that you're going to encounter is the whole your shot group opens up 33%. That is true under stress, but your body's going to fall into a natural reaction of what have I done the most? That's how I see what we're doing. So we can't get out there unless, hey, dudes, put on this body armor and come into this house and Dan's going to fucking shoot at you. That'd be a hell of a fucking CQB program.
Yes, it would.
Because it'd be fucking realistic.
Yeah.
But we can't do that. But what we can do is give them the fundamentals, and I know the operations of 1 through 3 and 4, man. So when shit hits the fan, I'm not just going to run in the center of the room, because that's what my brain is going to tell you.
Primary threat. No,
go to
not
your
can draw me to.
Go to your corner and collapse your sector fire.
Yeah, go my.
Under stress, so I get an engagement behind a piece of cover. I need to be able to shoot and move on a variety of positions. And under stress, I'm going to worry about saving my life and all that psychological aspect. But at least physically, I'm going to do the right thing, because my mind is
During
telling me
your course, I think it's 9-week course. I don't remember. It's 4 weeks flat range shit, 5 weeks CQB. Week 1 means nothing. After that, everything means everything. Is that roughly 3 weeks flat range?
Well, yeah, it's about 3.5 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, the first couple of days, the drills, we shoot them, but they're not scored, or they don't count for anything.
Because you're teaching shit.
You're teaching shit, yeah. And the same thing on the CQB side. Like the first 5 days is, dude, we're not really
What's the accountability in the last 5 weeks?
Pretty strict.
Yeah.
You got to, because you can't hold somebody super accountable when they're like this.
Right.
Fucking A, dude, I don't know what I'm doing right now.
Yes.
Dude, you can't hold the dude. You got to make mistakes. But as the course go on, we're less and less terrible about mistakes, especially the ones of like, hey, dude, not collapsing your sector fire properly. If you don't have that by now, you're never going to get it.
Yeah. So in this week's course, no names, but we got a brand new dude. Like a brand new dude has done nothing. Brand new dude in class. You can't hold him accountable the first couple hours. Except our course is running really fast, and he either needs to pick it up, dial in, and hang with the group, or he can't. And I'll be honest with you, that kid struggled, but you know what? He understood that. Once you made it clear, he understood that. And he did the best he could, and that's all. Now your course. Then here's the thing: how many rounds do you think you fire in this 9 weeks?
350,000.
There you go.
Yeah.
So in law enforcement, we have SWAT guys who retire with 20, 25, 30 years in their career. They don't shoot that. And we're holding American law enforcement to this standard of processing a room and making an average shot. They never get what you get in 9 weeks.
No, I get you.
And nobody understands that when I tell them that. I'm like, God.
I get if you'd say, hey, dude, Dan, what is the one thing? Repetition. But repetition is training a lot. Repetition and training a lot means money.
Yes.
And nowadays there's not the thing of, it's kind of surprising, when in these open enrollment courses I have, how many law enforcement officers show up that pay out of their pocket and their department cannot pay.
My department never paid for training for me in 27 years.
What are you talking about? Why wouldn't
And I
you?
went everywhere.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But if I give them credit, because they know if you got to pay out of your pocket to get more training, you should. But hey, what's the problem nowadays? And it's not that.
The problem nowadays is training.
It's training.
Well, no, 2 problems. Okay, I've been getting on soapbox now. We got on law enforcement. We're not talking political. Problem today is pussy ass fucking administrators that hire dudes that can write reports and can't fucking put a guy in a car by themselves. So 4 guys wind up putting him on the ground, kneel on his neck, put him in positional asphyxia, and he fucking dies. Like, that's on the administrators. It's not on the dudes they hired, although the dudes they hired shouldn't have been hired.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 is we don't provide training because pussy ass administrators are afraid that if we train people to shoot really good, they're going to shoot everybody. My point is, we train people to shoot really good, they shoot less people. It's the scared people that shoot people too early.
Yeah.
All right, soapbox is over.
Anyway, if you're not confident in your weapon system, then you're going to be scared at all times.
You're going to be scared.
And then when 2 people are confrontational, when somebody doesn't listen to you, it's a human tendency. You're going to get confrontational with them. And then when you have confrontational, then you start getting scared. And if you're not comfortable with your weapon system or comfortable with
you're fighting,
or comfortable with the ability to fight, then you go over the top.
Yes. When I started out, in Pot County was we were Cowboys and Indians compared to our neighbor county, Riley County. They're accredited. You know what they were to us? They were the Federation. They were the Romulans. We were the Federation. Like they had their, but we would arrest people over here and they go, I'm sorry. I didn't know I was in Piedmont County. I was in Riley County. I'm really sorry, sir. Like they thought we were going to take them out and beat their ass and shoot them. We didn't do that shit. We had that reputation. You know what I mean? Like it was just different back then. But
you had
we never used excessive force
because you know why?
County.
You know why? Because you're confident in your weapons handling, you're confident in your ability
to
fight. What combat as we call it. So if you're confident in that, then you know and I don't want to get into, there's plenty of stuff well within ROE, but it's like, dude, if you're confident, then hey, dude, I know the ROE because I'm confident in myself. All right, dude, you don't want to resist arrest. I'm not gonna. I don't want to get into that, but it's just like you're right. Training and confidence in training.
Yeah. I could tell you in my career, 5 to 8 people, I don't know, maybe 5 to 10. I literally, I don't count. I just saw a show on the 2 Escobars, and Pablo Escobar's first cousin says, I killed 150 or 250 people and dismembered most of them. But I don't count because if I counted, I'd be a psychopath. So I don't count. You know what I mean? I don't have a count on this shit. But people I could have shot. But I didn't because I was better than them. In my mind, maybe I wasn't, but in my mind I was. Hey, and I gave them I gave them that moment,
but if
to realize and give up.
And I agree. So if you have no training and you're scared and you're not confident in your ability to fire a gun, you know what you're going to do? You can't give them a chance.
You can't give them, and I could because I really
turn around and
talk
shit.
Good.
Turn around and talk shit. I know I can fucking draw and hit your ass in under 1.6 seconds.
That's right. Yeah. Or you know what? We don't even want to do that. Security shows up, Flamingo. We want to kick all 8 dudes' asses. We could have. I'm not saying that occurred between you and me. I'm just saying we could have.
What are you talking about, Buck?
I'm not talking about it.
The Flamingo Hotel?
Hypothetical.
I've never been there.
In the Flamingo.
Actually, we've been there, but we'll never return.
We can never return. Okay, that might be true. We can never return. No, I think that's a big thing and I don't think you guys deal with that on your side, but you're crossing over it. We deal with that all the time with people on my side. We've got people, you know why we do breach and hold, you know why NTOA does breach and hold as a primary response to everything except hostage rescue. Because they're afraid law enforcement officers are going to get killed doing raids. Why are they afraid of that?
Because then it makes the city look bad.
I don't know that. Yes, okay, you're right. But the bottom line is, your first CQB class taught me this. We are bad at processing rooms.
Oh, yeah.
I thought I was good at processing. I'm telling you, bro, when we hooked up, I'm like, fuck, I'm in it. And then we're doing your shit. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm processing this room really slow. And I knew it. And I walked out of that class and I went, okay, I gotta process shit faster. I'm processing too slow. And that's what American law enforcement I don't know. There's guys out there can burn it down. But how many guys out there can process
those guys,
6 people and burn it down?
But you have to be able to burn it down before you can process.
You do.
Here's the thing.
You have to do the progressions.
Our CMS stress test is nothing more than hey, this dude is comfortable burning it down.
Yes.
He will process it. If you can't burn it down, then you're worried about burning it down.
Then that's all you think about is burn it down. Yeah. And what did we see in 25 guys in that first class? Everybody was worried about their shooting.
Yeah.
Everybody about 2 guys.
Yep.
And I'll be honest with you, I wasn't one of the 2 guys. I'd like to say, no, I was one of the guys that, no. There was a couple people in that class that could process and just shoot. Most of us were shooting and struggling processing. And I'm talking about guys. We had guys in there that have 20 years and have done a ton of raids, with KHP and different agencies, and they were struggling. And that was eye-opening to me because and then you sent me the book on that shit. I'm reading that. I'm like, holy crap. In 9 weeks, they do more than most civilian SWAT officers do in 20 years, not weeks, 20 years, And that's where we're failing in America. It's not racism. It's not it is hiring the wrong people, but we're failing in providing a baseline of training. And I think that working with Lead Faucet Tactical for 4 years and taking your classes and working with you as a really low level, AI, I think that's the differential. And there are other people out there that do a good job. Not a ton of good. Like, there's a lot of choices out there to train with today. Because guys are coming out of SF, they're all trying to look for a job. There's guys coming out of law enforcement, they're all looking for a job. There's a ton of choices. And right now, okay, I'm on the soapbox again. Right now, the differential in training is, what's your social media? No, fuck you. The differential is, what do you provide in that course in terms of contingencies? Because everybody can do a primary plan.
Yeah.
Everybody. What's your alternate? What's your contingency? What's your emergency? And do you train for that in a 3-day or a 4-day or a 5-day course? And you know what? I think Lead Faucet Tactical does.
Well, it's like, it's like, hey, what's your 2-day carbine? What's your 3-day? I'm not big on social media, but I don't, you're going to cover all that in those. It's contingencies of gunfighting. That's what it is. You got to be able to do the hard stuff. Nobody likes to come out to the range and shoot support side stuff or one arm stuff because your pro timer shit ain't good. But, it's all about building confidence and learning those contingencies. But I do agree with you. Go back those. If you have confidence in yourself, then in your gunfighting skills, it makes everything else easier. But if you don't, then that's when bad shit happens. I'll be honest. It's like, dude, I don't have to jump the gun early. I know what the fuck I'm doing.
You're right.
That's what it comes down to.
That's where I was. And you know what?
I know what the fuck I'm doing, and I'm confident. Yes. So do whatever you want, bro. Yeah. I can, dude. I'm good.
Yeah, I can't sell any of my courses on the number of people I've shot.
Yes.
I can't.
No.
You know what I mean? I can't sell my courses on the people I've shot. And it's really hard to sell courses on the people I haven't shot. But you know what? Those made a difference. Yeah. Not just, you know what? I didn't deal with the legal issues. I didn't deal with psychological issues. I didn't deal with civil issues. And you know what? Maybe they went on to live good lives. I don't give a fuck. Like, that didn't matter to me. I won that day. I don't care what the rest of life did. But you can't sell courses like that. It doesn't sell on social media. Yeah. We talk about social media. Name me one person that impresses you. You're working at it. I'm working at it. We suck. In all honesty, we suck, man.
Oh, yeah.
Who doesn't? Name me some pops in your mind.
Anybody.
No, Vixen Actual. That bitch is crushing it with Matthew Little. Vixen Actual is crushing social media, man. I'm serious. You know what I want to look at? I want to look at a chick that can freaking shoot and has some tactics and has a CrossFit body to do it, right? That sound really sexist?
No, you're good.
Okay.
We're good. It's near the end. We're good.
We're near the end.
It's starting to deteriorate. We're beyond.
So where's the Lead Faucet Tactical going? Where's it want to go?
Where's it want to go?
Yeah.
I think products and continue down the training path as far as not putting a different spin on things, but keep doing what we're doing of how this thing started 3 years ago. But realizing that based on what's going on, some things you always got to change and adapt. It's like when I was in the military, I can't keep doing the same template for a mission for 12 years. You got to change and adapt some. So I think 2021, we're going to add a couple more new courses.
Right. Defense Midwest has done what it's done for 20 years. And it's just been local cops, some civilians. You know what I mean? Nothing big time at all. And in all honesty, like, nothing I've done or anywhere I've been has equated to what I've done since I've met you.
Well, I appreciate that, Buck.
No, you pulled me. We've done some good class, like this week's class.
Yeah.
There ain't 46 fucking TACP showing up my place if it isn't for Dan Brokos.
No, that's not true, Buck. But
No, that is true. Like it's not like that happened that way.
yeah,
you
but
know?
I think we bring a LE military combination perspective to things. I'll be honest. I'm starting to learn the law enforcement lingo. I mean, I've been around there, and I got a pretty good grasp of it. And it's like, hey guys, they want a CQB. This is what we don't do in the military. We don't shoot machine guns and throw grenades in the rooms. If you thought that's what we did, yeah, that happens sometimes, but predominantly speaking, it's surgical fire.
Sometimes we throw grenades in the room and run machine guns.
Yeah, sometimes
we do. Like deliberate shit too.
That could be a new T-shirt I'm thinking about. Sometimes a motherfucker needs a machine gun. That could be my new shirt.
My T-shirt, and I haven't got it designed yet because I do not have a model for this T-shirt. My T-shirt is barricades, as in life. If you can get a piece, you should get a piece.
I like that. That'd be a good shirt.
Yes, I think that's the Lead Faucet Tactical Defense Midwest shirt. Okay.
Well, you can have one side. I'll take the other.
Which side?
I'll take the front. You have the back.
I'll take the back
because you
a
see
really
it more.
Curvy girl on the barricade shooting barricades with getting a piece. I'm not talking about anything else. If
No, but that
people
makes
have
sense,
yeah,
Meet between you and the weapon system. Get a piece of the barricade.
get a piece.
That's what I keep saying. Get a piece, dude.
As
You
in
gotta put
life. As in life. Because, whatever it is, if it's investing in the stock market, get a piece, man. Right?
Yeah.
It's 2:00 in the morning. The bars are closing. What would be the same, Dan? 2:00 morning, bars are closing. Get a piece. You don't have to brag about it the next day to your buddies. All right. So, yeah, you've degenerated quickly.
No, Buck, you have. I've been nice and calm this whole podcast. Now we're starting to deteriorate.
Any final thoughts? Like we're going to leave dudes with something now, or not just dudes. There's a lot of really good chicks out there that are smoking law enforcement, doing their job. I don't mean that. You leave people with life-saving stuff.
Man, I think regardless if you're law enforcement, military, civilian nowadays, is, with what's going on out there, you increase your advantages of survival and owning your own terrain by being confident in having a weapon and using it. Let's just take a look at COVID. It was awesome for the gun industry. I mean, there's probably hundreds of thousands, I don't know the exact number, probably 500,000 new gun owners out there that were scared and say, I need to buy a gun. I think you need to learn to use that gun so you're not the person who doesn't use it properly. Take a concealed carry class, learn the rules of engagement, but most importantly, learn to fight with what you have and own, because it's going to save you your family's life someday. And I hate to say that, but that's, the Second Amendment is one of what America is founded on. But it looks more and more as we get on the road that you're going to need these, not only to survive,
It
but
appears that way.
to be don't be the asshole who shoots somebody that doesn't need to be shot. And you won't be that asshole if you have confidence in your weaponing skills. Yeah. That's what it comes down to, what we've been always talking. Be confident in yourself. And you know what? I'm not confident at certain things. And if I needed those things and purchased them, I sure the fuck would be doing it a lot. So I would be confident in it. And this goes back to, I did not like mountain climbing when I first got in the military. My first team was a mountain team. But I did it. Guys went on the weekends. I did it, and I got more confident. And it was not easy, but I was super confident in it. When you're not confident in something, that's the only thing you're focused about, and then you can't see and you cannot process what's really going on.
Your peripheral vision, and I'm not talking about vision. I'm talking about our processing. That peripheral vision collapses to nothing. So when we can't.
Tunnel vision.
Right, tunnel vision.
So at the end, final thoughts. Fucking train. You can dry fire. The mental aspect, like you talked, that's tough. I mean, unless you can not going to come to one of my courses and I'll shoot some UTM at you, but it's never going to be a live ball. So I think the mind conditions itself to do what, and you know, we've had a lot of people say, hey dude, I don't like the word, as far as mental conditioning, because your brain's, well, dude, you do something 1,000 times, then that's what you're going to do when stress hits.
Yes, I agree. I don't know what the word is. I don't want to harp about Valhalla. I don't want to harp about, you know, slow as smooth as fast. I don't want to harp about all this stuff. But you know what? You can't do something fast that you can't do something slow.
Yeah.
You got to do it slow first. That isn't my goal, but my goal is to do it well once, you know, at some speed, and do it better as I go along. Yeah. And that's hard because people want to pay for point A to point Z. Actually, that's not true, because I don't believe in using the alphabet to, people want to go from point A to point 12. See how I like mixing numbers and alphabet, right? Point A to point 12.
You're right. Thank you, ma'am.
That's what people want to do. So we had a good week this last week, you think? Yeah, I was pretty tired. I actually napped maybe an hour and a half before this, barely made the podcast, to be honest with you.
Class we got off the range back here about 7:30, in bed by 8:30 every night.
That's how it went.
Tom fucked us over one night.
Oh yeah, Tom Doyle, one night we're like, hey, we need to go to bed. Tom's like, one more makers. One more. We're like, Tom, it's getting late. One more.
Other than that, we're good.
Other than that, we're fine. Like me and here's the thing. If you're looking at buying a course out there somewhere, or you're looking at instructors, Lead Faucet Tactical is your go-to. If you want a really good course, pay a little extra and bring in Buck Petticord to work with Lead Faucet Tactical, because like it's going to be worth it. Because we don't stay up late. We write our POs out the night before. We frickin' dial it in, and then we're there.
And
early.
You don't tell a lot of funny stories, Buck.
I never talk.
You don't fuck with people.
I hardly ever
never talk. Yeah.
I don't.
So if you want to pay extra for that, yes, by all means.
Yes. One of my first conversations ever with Dan is he's telling me about getting a fight somewhere. Except he's saying, you know, I didn't do anything to do with this. I was totally innocent. And then, you know, he's hitting on my wife and all this shit. And anyway, I checked the dude out, and then, you know, everybody, you know, it all melts down from there, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, hell yeah. Like, I'm with you, Dan. Like, that's how my life is going. Like, I've never started anything in my life. I've never stirred anything. It's just bad shit happens around me, right? Till we went to Vegas. I went, wait a minute, Brokos. Like, you totally freaking stirred that shit.
That, you know, sometimes, dude, if you got to check stew, you got to stir
it. Hey, let's wrap this up. Last words on training? Anybody you want to, like you got a bunch of really good companies. I mean, really good companies that support you, your training, the shit we do. We give people some, you know, in some courses we get some people good. Call them out, man.
Yeah, I will say this, man, thanks to everybody in the industry that I work with, that support me. OSS, Victos, Trigicon. Who else? Velocity. I'm just fucking around. I know. Velocity. Type A rifles are the best. P80 pistols.
Poly, yeah.
Yeah. And I'll go Ricky Bobby on you. If you don't if you don't read Recoil magazine, then you fucking suck.
Yeah. No.
Love the guys from Recoil. They do great magazine. And everybody else who I didn't mention, I appreciate your support of Lead Faucet.
I never met the guys from Recoil until they came out to a course we had here. I don't know. The only reason they came to Kansas to a course here is because COVID. Everybody's doing nothing.
I know.
They're like, fuck it, we're getting out here. We're going to go.
That's what he cussed me. He's like, Dan, is this course still going on?
Yeah.
I said, yeah. I said, I don't know if I'm going to run it. Tom might run it. Ian's like, I'm flying in.
Yeah. You're
I'm like, all right.
Get out
I said, I don't know. I said, it's going to go regardless if there's 5 or 10. He's like, I'm flying in. I got to get the fuck out of the house.
Yeah, Ian, Cal, like, you guys are great dudes. Yeah. Like, we had a good time. You know what? The fact that you couldn't get up the next morning after the first night you flew in is not my fault. Right? The rest of LPO, the fact that, we got somebody here that couldn't get up The next morning after, like every night, somebody challenges me. Every night. It's like, really? We're going to do, yeah, we're going to do this. Drink till 4. I show up on time. They don't show up till 1. Like, that's, and I'm not saying, I probably was roofied. I probably wasn't drinking real alcohol because I'm not, I don't drink much booze.
Either do I, Buck.
I know.
This is coffee.
Hey, one thing on this week's training, I've gotten a lot of good shit. I got a booze glass. I got a fucking cup. Like the warthogs. And then we got signed balls of JMO from the ASOS.
Which is badass.
It's pretty bad. Coffee, JMO.
This is mine is not open. This is Buck's.
No, that's Tom's.
This is Tom's.
No, Tom said we could drink this. He doesn't like JMO. Tom drank a little JMO last night and then couldn't talk.
Yeah.
At that point,
swells up his tongue or something.
Yeah, his tongue swelled
His tongue
up.
swells up on Jameson.
Yeah,
So
it's like
he just gave us
shellfish.
his bottle. Yeah, he's like eating shellfish.
It's like
then we got
shellfish.
those
His tongue swelled up. So we're drinking Tom's JMO. It's, you know what? A lot of fun, Dan. And I'm telling you, the last 4 years have been a ride, bro.
I appreciate it, Buck, man.
We had a good time.
I like.
We've done some stupid.
I came
fun
out here
stuff.
for a reason. We became good friends at it, and let's continue it over the
Let's
next
do it.
10.
Right on. Thank you all for listening. Hey, check out all his sponsors, Victos, OSS. You're looking for a can. Blowback fucking sucks, people. Armageddon, they've treated us good.
Yep,
Velocity treats us good. Trijicon. And I'm not saying they don't treat me good. They treat the people we train good.
Yeah, Armageddon Gear
And
makes
they
my
care.
slings, Velocities kit, Trijicon optics, OSS cans, Type A rifles, P80, Victos gear. Victos is awesome. Great sponsor of ours. Everybody else is listed on the website, so appreciate all the support.
Last but not least, you know what? I know we didn't go live. Roach Media Group. I don't know. Maybe they're middle of the road. But Roach Media Group is crushing this shit. Like we got.
He's done. He just quit.
We got good stuff here. Good for Roach Media Group. We didn't make it live, but you know what? We're gonna put it out there like he's doing it. And last but not least, I got to throw a shout out to Molly Troy. She's introduced me people. Dan Brokos introduced me people. Tom Doyle's introduced me people. Molly Troy's introduced me people I've never met my entire life doing what I do here in the middle of Kansas. Like really good stuff. And I appreciate that. So, hey, y'all, like get out there and train, man. And have fun doing it. And you know what, in the end, freaking live life. Don't worry about those demons in your head.
Yep, be happy to be alive.
Roger that.